Hey guys, it's Sailor Gamer, and we're here with another Dauntless video. Each week, Fitness Labs holds a weekly reflector on Reddit, which is the sole purpose of getting feedback from the community and having the community come up with different ways to improve the game, and then possibly taking that feedback and turn it into something that can help the game. I'm here to keep you guys up to date on all things Dauntless. Also, I will talk about the updated roadmap plans for the game and what's next on the horizon. Links to the Reddit post in question will be in the description box below. Stay tuned and you'll officially be up to date on the latest in Dauntless. If you are new to the channel, I'm an up-and-coming content creator and I focus on creating educational videos for Dauntless, a free-to-play action RPG, and Anthem. I also stream at twitch.tv/SailorTurnGamer, link in the description box below. If you ever want to catch us live. If you enjoy the video, please give it a like and a share, and join the fleet by hitting that sub button. Now let's get into the roundup. Mythical Waffle question, and he wanted to know, are repeater parts that change the firing style planned? For example, a shotgun style burst or a machine gun rapid fire. The community manager responded by saying there's a lot of combat changes in the works, including some updates for the repeaters, but not exactly the type of updates that he's looking for. Well, I'm sure that those things will be in the future, because he also said that it's not off the table. It's possible. Okay, so we got another question with someone wondering, would it be possible to implement the use of dyes for weapons like you can for armor? Community manager also responded by saying that's a question that's in discussion right now. It is a discussion that is possible, and yeah, no note on when that's going to happen, but it is definitely something that's possible. So we got a series of 4 questions now from Kat. Any ideas if any of the combat reworks will be ready before the console launch? Will the game's mechanics remain obscure, or are there any plans for more in-game tutorials or other teaching tools instead of relying on community resources? Are there any plans for some kind of hunt journal similar to the catalog of Behemoth info? And does Phoenix have a name for stagger from stagger damage that differentiates it from the other 3 types of stagger? Because there is interrupt stagger, there's part break stagger, shock paralyzed stagger, and the perk stunning vigor only triggers on the stagger damage, while all the other perks and quests that say stagger refer to all 4. So it can be very confusing. As far as the combat reworks, there will be combat changes in the future all the time. We have that being known right now. They do plan on improving the in-game tutorial experience and smoothing out the early progression to make that a lot easier for newer players. And as far as a hunt journal or something similar to that, it's something that's currently being worked on. It's not exactly like what Kat was thinking, but they're trying to make something that's possible. They want to create a space that shows more information like that in the future though. And then as far as the differentiation between stagger, he acknowledges that they're not being 100% clear when it comes to the stagger differentiation, but it's something that they're going to improve, and they're really happy to have that feedback. Now, one of the other questions that we also got is, we want to know, are there any plans on expanding the Evergame more with features to retain players' attention in the long run when the game launches on console in the Epic Store? If yes, can we expect it soon? We just want to know. He's asking, Retromaster is asking, because by far this is Dauntless' biggest flaw. Once you farmed everything in the game, you can basically run out of things to do, and the game needs something to keep players interested in the long run. This is especially true with the upcoming console and Epic Store launch that will attract a lot of new players. So as far as that, there are a handful of features that are still coming before console launch, and some will improve the Evergame. There will be more steps towards improving the Evergame after console launch as well. So we don't know what those plans are, but we do know they do have plans for those things before console release and after as well. So we got another stack of questions. We got 5 questions in a row from Pants of the Mister. Once you guys release the console version, will it be possible to switch back and forth between all platforms with the same account, or will we need to make individual accounts for each platform? Now, I just want to answer that question immediately. Yes, you'll be able to link your Epic accounts with all platforms. This way, the cross progression will work as well, which is super awesome. So another question that we actually got an answer for was the only in-game Behemoth is the Carabac that's weak to shock and blaze. Any plans to change that? And the answer we got is yes, there are plans to better balance strengths and weaknesses between behemoths. Hopefully that's a funny way of saying that they got new behemoths down the line. And how is the calculated bugged, and will it ever even matter other than for funsies? They plan on updating the whole end of hunt system. The scoring is unclear at the time, but it can often show slightly incorrect information as well. And is that still in the works? And if so, are you willing to elaborate on what the content is? We also know that there are a few updates coming that will give Slayers something more to do than just hunting the behemoth. They're exploring a lot of options, including various fauna and other activities. Not really sure about that, but they are saying that they do have other content coming down the line. I'm assuming that means with release, but only time will tell. And then the last thing that they wanted to know was that, we haven't seen any updates on the roadmap. Is that happening pretty soon? They're currently working on the roadmap. It will be releasing before console launch, which is super awesome. And once that roadmap gets released, we will be covering it here on Cellular Turn Gamer, so stay tuned for that. We also got another question that the community manager decides to answer. We're on a roll right now. Has a team ever considered re-adding 2 behemoths at the same time for a hunt? And yes, they have. Many of us at the studio love dual behemoth fights and plan to explore more ways to bring back modes like dual behemoth fights. Now, this was before my time, but if they bring back dual behemoth fights, that will be a huge game changer for the Ever game, also known as the end game. That'll be a huge thing to add. It'll add so much variety and so much more content, so many more possibilities. So I'm looking forward to that. So we got another huge series of questions. A lot of people got a lot of questions, but we're here to cover everything. Are there any new weapons on the way? Currently, they're still updating the weapons that we have now, but there's a lot coming. So it's a little vague, but hopefully they have other weapons planned in the future, and we can get behind that if that's the case. Could we get some kind of leaderboard or something that will make it a bit competitive? There's something that they talked about, and they're open to introducing other modes, but he's still being a little coy. So we don't know if they have other modes already set in stone, or if they're still working on things, or if everything is still in the discussion phase. We don't exactly know, but hopefully we can get some other modes. Also, those of us that are currently playing on the Dauntless servers, we want to know, when are we getting transferred, or basically, when are we switching over to the Epic Game server? They're going to make an announcement when that happens, to keep that short. And will there be some kind of big update, at least in a month, that will make Dauntless worth playing? There is indeed a big update coming soon. The date is not released yet, but it will be before console launch. So they do have plans to release a pretty big update that's going to give us a little bit more of content to enjoy the game, those of us on console, and to just make the amount of content that exists for the full game even bigger upon release. So that's going to be awesome. Are there any plans to revisit the drop mechanics of Molten? That we didn't get an exact answer for, because that question wasn't as specific as he would have liked. So there's your answer on that. Any updates on the content aimed at veteran players? Basically what we got from that is that there's a lot in the pipe that's going to affect all the players. They're going to be able to tell us more about that in the future. What we got was at the start of March. That's very soon. So stay tuned, and we're going to cover that information as well. Any plans to change or make some of the hammer options more responsive, like getting away from double inputs? The hammer is one of the weapons that's currently undergoing some combat love, so there are going to be some combat reworks in the future, hopefully in a upcoming patch that's in the next coming weeks or so. But that's awesome. There are going to be changes to the hammer to make that weapon a lot better. They've already made changes to a lot of the weapons in the game. They made changes to the war pike. They've made several changes to the repeaters. They've made changes to the war chains. They made a couple changes to the hammer a few patches ago, but I'm expecting some big things down the line, seeing that we got a little hint on the combat love that's being undergone right there. Is the team still open to some kind of speed trials mode, preferably with leaderboards? And they're still open to these kind of modes. They just need to finish the current features in console launch. So when the person says current features, hopefully that means they got some new things coming down the line. And I can't wait for console launch, because console launch will mean a new beginning, a new page for the game. and another opportunity for the game to grow and more people to get their hands on it. More content as well. It's going to be really, really exciting when that happens. But as far as the weekly roundup, those are all the questions that the community had and actually got an answer for the week of February 15th. Whenever we get another series of roundup questions, stay tuned here. We will cover those as well. And now we can move on to that special news that we have on Dauntless. So Dauntless is coming to PAX East. They wanted to announce that they'll be headed to GDC and PAX East. They're really, really excited for that piece of information. Those of you that don't know, GDC will be March 18th to March 22nd. And Dauntless will be part of the Epic Games Unreal Engine booth. There'll be a couple of PCs running Dauntless. Just stop by the booth and say hello. There'll be some devs walking around, and they'll be more than happy to talk to you guys and answer any of the questions that you guys have. Remember that. Mark the date for GDC is March 18th to March 22nd. Also, if you guys can't make that, PAX East is March 28th to March 31st. They're going to have their own booth as well with 32 total PlayStations, and they upped that number from PAX West to from 28 to 32, which is going to be really, really awesome. Along with that, they're bringing the game, and they're going to be able to fight Chirag, Valamir, Scorchstone Hellion, and a brand new Behemoth. So that's going to be really, really awesome as well. So keep in mind, if you show up to PAX East, you're probably going to get some awesome flair codes. You might even get some physical goodies as well. And if you go, you get the opportunity to be the first ones to fight this brand new Behemoth that we have no idea what he could be. So that sounds really awesome in itself. Hopefully they spill the beans on the roadmap at PAX East too. Only time will tell. But as soon as we know more about the roadmap, like I said, we will cover it here most definitely. Anyone that has made it this far in the video, I just want to say thank you. Stay here for all things Dauntless, and if you or anyone else is interested in any consistent Anthem coverage, be sure to stay here, because we'll do our best to cover everything about both games for the years to come. If you enjoy the video, please give it a like and a share, and join the fleet by hitting that sub button. Until then, this will be out in the open ocean. Peace.